All right, we are about to get started. Thank you guys all for joining in. I am Sherry Naudine, owner of Collegiate Sports Advocate, and I love my regular attendees. I see some great friends of mine, Kim Johnson. We need to catch up, girl. And the rest of you are frequent flyers on this Twitter live. But I did switch the time, so hopefully everybody will catch on. If y'all can do me a favor and go hit reply all and tell some friends to join us. We are on. We're going to talk about social media and recruiting, which some people don't like what I say, but I am telling you what I know and how it all works and giving you as much information as possible. Um, and obviously, I'm a recruiting service. My results are 652 student athletes. We actually get people done, and our goal is to find the fit because we do stay with them until they graduate college. Social media has become really, really big in the sport of softball and baseball. That's primarily where I'm at. However, I just uh, hired a brand new national director of basketball, and he has men and women. I also have a rugby guy from South Africa who's going to dabble in the pros a little bit. And of course, if he can get some kids here to college in a club sport environment, he's going to try that too. I have a new advocate in Oklahoma. I've got a new advocate here in DFW. I'm based out of Dallas. However, I have spent oh gosh, almost 30 years in the sport of softball. So we are literally number one in the country with getting it done, getting the results, and getting them to graduate college. That is our main goal. So we do a lot about the fit and a lot of assessment. We get them in early, like eighth and ninth grade, and really help you through the journey. So let's get to our topic. Feel free to DM me any questions. You can also private message me if you don't want to put it out, because when you do this on Twitter and you hit reply, it does go to the public. But if you private DM me, I can be a little bit more specific there for you. But I use a very simple marketing tactic. I wish all of you would stop looking on Twitter and doing what everybody else is doing instead of what you should be doing. The number one thing I've done year in and year out is I ask the college coaches what they want to see. This to me is common sense and very logical. If what the decision maker wants, then give it to them. If you're just giving them what you want to give them and what you think everybody else is doing, and you're just kind of putting it out there, and they're not one, maybe you're not even in the age group where they can talk to you yet or interact with you yet, which is really what happens. So that becomes concerning, right? Because they can't really give you any feedback. The only thing they can do is invite you to a camp. And man, that's a long and expensive way to get recruited. We could cover that on a whole nother segment. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go to camps. You should go to the right camps at the right time, according to your talent level, according to your goals and aspirations. But we were just talking on TikTok Live at 7. The hardest thing for families to understand is you don't get to pick where your kid gets to go until they pick you. And that's a hard message, man. People say it all the time. Well, they've known me forever. I love this kid, blah, blah. There's a lot of reasons why they didn't recruit you or aren't recruiting you. I had one that said, we kind of know this kid too well, and we think we've peaked with, knowing her and getting the most out of her. And we just don't think she's going to be a fit for our organization, for our college. Well, guess what? That kid's playing. So don't worry. She's a Power Four conference kid, and she had choices after she put herself out there. So start with a simple marketing model. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Why are you posting? Who are you posting it to, right? Do you have a proper audience? Do you have enough college coaches following you? Because this is the thing with, and I'll go through who first. This is the thing with social media platforms. Twitter is big. Twitter is big for recruiting because, man, the colleges are up there posting what they want to post and talking about their program. I say this all the time. She's going to think I love her. But Larissa Anderson at Mizzou, she puts out great content and you get a sense of who they are as a culture. I would say that about Nebraska too. You can tell that it's a human and not a media person putting out posts that tells you about the program and what they are. You get a sense and a feeling of everything you need to know about those programs. So go follow coaches that you want to connect with on social media. and I'm giving you the most organic way you can possibly, go after it. If they follow you back, I would say, "That's cute. That's cute." Now they've opened up the ability to DM each other, right? If they're not following you and you're not following them, then you can't DM each other. I think that's the way it works, at least what I've experienced. And things change all the time, right? So, who are you putting this message out to? If you're tagging a coach on the message, I'm going to tell you Twitter is the wrong method to put a direct message that you're tagging a coach on, because Twitter is not a direct messaging format. It's not a platform for direct messaging. It's a come look at everything I post for them. The analytics might, target you and kind of re-guide the likelihood of them following you. Like I've got almost 12,000 on my Twitter. If you and I are friends and then I'm friends with that coach, it's more likely that they're going to see you. But if you're just tagging me and you're not my client, man, that goes on deaf ears, right? The coaches know it. But who are you sending it to? And this one's funny. Do you think they're really sitting at their desk scrolling, looking on Twitter to find you? Man, every coach I ask, and I ask you when you see me at a tournament, you're going to see me talking, and I run my model by them all. I love it, Casey. Thanks. They, I ask them, have you ever sat down and just, scrolled on the airplane or the bus ride and just are targeting kids on Twitter? And this coach laughed so hard, he was almost crying. He goes, "Oh, girl." He goes, "I have to tell you a true story." He goes, "I don't do that, but I might have been in my Twitter and seen a video. And the minute I see it, it's always a no." So this is what I'm trying to help you guys that are trying to go it alone. I'm trying to show you that my value in this process is so much more than just being a recruiter. I'm just loaded full of information. I spent 28 years in telecom and sales and marketing, and I honestly think this is really natural for what I do because this is how I get results for my individuals, right? So, who are you targeting this message towards? Are you just hoping to fish wide? Well, guess what? That's not the NCAA's method of recruiting, right? Their method of recruiting is to email them first. So if you're emailing them, then where are you sending them? Do you got a good landing page that puts your transcript and your test scores and your videos? Or are you just sending them back to Twitter? Twitter doesn't give you enough content to feed the college coaches. If you're using one of those other services, I'm not going to talk about them. They have flaws and they have big, huge gaps in them. That's how I built my company. I built my company on the gaps that these other recruiting services have. So, this is very important that you're doing these things, thinking about who this message is going to, so that when you put it out there, you're intending to get that to them. But again, I'm going to tell you, Twitter's the wrong format for that, right? You've got to go back to what do the college coaches want? When do they want it? And how do they want it? What do they want in it? And man, if you're just out there fishing, again, you're going to be serving it up to a whole bunch of people that maybe don't want what you're sending. And then that gets to be the in the college coach world where they get thousands of emails a day. So I'm going to take a big inhale here and ask you guys, man, I'm loving our audience. You guys are so active and you're out here. Would you give a little share? Hit that forward button and do a share and tell people we're on and we're talking about social media, and would love for you all to join. And a reminder that I do this 8 p.m. every Monday Central Time. And you can DM me or you can retweet at me here so that I can answer questions for you. So I want to make sure. One told me that I was muted because I was talking to myself at the beginning. Thank you, Evan. You're awesome. And thank you, Anison. And I was talking to myself at the beginning, but I got it fixed now. So good thing I got you guys watching out for me. So who are you sending this tweet to, right? What are you sending? Is it what's going to engage somebody? Is it something they're going to like? Is it something that is going to entice them to engage and press on your Twitter and find out a little bit more about you? And are you sending them something that will allow them to engage with you? Are you giving them your summer schedule or high school? Man, Marco just talked about that on Twitter Live. High school's hit and miss, man. If you're waiting to be recruited in high school and you're just posting a high school schedule, you're only gonna most likely get the local ones or people that have seen you someplace else, and it's worth the trip and worth the engagement. So what are you sending them? Is it really content they want? I had a 14 and under girl tell me today, that there was a major SEC coach, and I'm going to guarantee you, I'll bet anybody a steak dinner, that he does not open his emails and he does not perform his Twitter on his page. And he actually said, "Oh, yeah, I love when you guys tweet your workouts." I promise you, they don't want workouts. They do not want pitching tunnels. They do not want you jumping up on a ball. And I'm saying this in general. You might have one coach that says, "Sure, sure, sure." And when I press that coach, like, "Why would you want that?" He said, "Well, I'm trying to build my social media audience." And I was like, "Bingo, brah. That's about you. That's not about the student athlete." So, my advice about what's going to help you get more out of social media, there is a lot of clubs that do what I think is a good business plan for professional marketing, professional social media, like, make these things, put it out there, tag your coaches, put as much content as possible. And it's not what the college coaches want. It's not like I have a best friend that owns a design center. It's spectacular. She's always showing video of all of this, designer wholesale products in Orange County, California. It's amazing. But she's fishing for her audience. She's fishing for the buyers to come in and look at her products. It, she knows who her audience is. She's not, selling to the rest of us who are not designers, right? Twitter is again an open platform and it's going out, and you should be following the coaches you like, build your audience. You should be following your team and other people on your team and follow who they follow, right? Build it that way. Then what you want to put is your schedule. You want to put into season offense. You want to put into season defense. This is what we do. And we're very, very picky about what we do. You can go look at my Twitter. I think I have some new ones up there today because that's what they tell us they want. It's like teaser marketing. We're teasing you to engage with our student athletes. We're not trying to sell you and not trying to show you the 45-pound lift that you did today. You better be working. One of my favorite lines is to say, "Work in silence, show it on the field." That's what the college coaches like. They want to be invited to come see you play, and they want to choose. If they get 1,000 emails they're going through, if you don't got good video, they're not coming to see you. If they're clicking on your page and you get an announcement saying, "Oh, XYZ school clicked on my page," and they don't show up, guess what? It's probably a no, right? So now you're an interpreter of the silence. You're an interpreter of them coming and watching what you put out there. And if they don't like it, they're not telling you, "I don't like it." They're not telling you your talent isn't ready. I love this SEC coach. She gives it to you. She said, "The more video you put up there, the more likely we're going to find fault." Because in the recruiting process for females, you're in it early. You're in, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. But by the time you commit, you're still young, you're still developing. So they're doing a lot of betting on the upside, right? So you got to put good content out there. You got to have good talent on a good team, going to the right places, and then give them what they want. But there's a lot of gimmicks going on out there. People putting camp photos. Hey, you paid for that camp. You already went to the camp, right? Follow my logic here. It's nothing about you personally. You went to the camp. Shouldn't you have made enough of impression? You don't have to go out on an open platform and thank them in an open environment. What if somebody else was recruiting you and they go, "Well, gosh, why didn't you tag me?" Or worse, "Ugh, they're targeting that school. My school's 10 times better. We're not even in the right layer. Like, I'm not even going to engage in that. If they're going to that camp, man, I'm not going to waste my time, right?" So this kind of thought process really happens in it. So don't kid yourself to think just because you want to post it that it's what the decision maker is looking for. So think like a marketer. And again, do the who, what, where, when, why, and how. So we talked about who. Who are you sending it to? I haven't heard a coach yet that likes being tagged. They think it's kind of funny because now they know who you're targeting. You're giving your hand, right? You're showing your marketing hand. You're showing who you're targeting. And again, they're using more information about what you're putting out there to not recruit you than to recruit you. I'm going to hype a girl, and Kim, you may know this kid. She's down in your area, plays, I'm pretty sure, for Tid's team. A 27 catcher that's got one heck of a TikTok following. I think they call her Catcher Macy. Now, when that girl hits a ball, you want to watch it, okay? When she throws a ball, yeah, you want to watch it because she's really, really good. If you think you're that good, you can post it, but she doesn't even need to post it. She's so good, but it's enticing, right? It makes you want to watch. That's not what's happening to the majority of the student athletes that are putting their swings and their practices up there on Twitter. It's negative exposure. We call it getting exposed. Like, I wish I had a fake Instagram or a Twitter name and I could go, hey, girlfriend, work on that swing before you put it live. It's not looking very good, right? And it's tough, but man, don't you want that feedback, right? Don't you want to put the right content at the right time so that you can get recruited versus scratching you off the list? Here's another one. There's a lot of controversies about hitting styles, folks. I call it the uppercut because, man, don't get me into the language of the hitting pros. There are some great hitting pros out there, but they get into the language, into the um, conversation behind it, and then they get really, really sensitive and personal about what's right and what's not right. Right? And then I had a coach tell me, I love this kid. Boy, Sherry, she can hit when she gets hold of one. But man, I can't work with her hitting style because I don't know how to make it better. It is what it is. She is what she is. And man, she took lessons from a pro. I mean, this girl was well invested. Her swing was good, but man, same thing. I'm an ex-catcher. I would have thrown her a rise ball. Woo, sit down, girl, because only certain people can really get up and under that pitch that's coming at a different angle with the bat, right? So it's an eyesore for me, and it kind of takes me aback, right? So you have to be careful of that too. So when you're targeting a particular style, you better be targeting the coaches that like that style because they're not going to recruit you. Let's hope they're not going to recruit you and then try to change your swing. Man, you girls, by the time your junior year, even baseball, you're millions of swings in before they even recruit you. That's hard to unravel and fix if they're going to drastically try to change you. And I have heard that. I would be very, very cautious about that. So, man, when you commit to that kind of style, you got to commit long and hard. So, again, my point to this is open marketing on Twitter makes it very, very difficult to target your audience. You're not fishing to a wide audience because they're going to categorize you and split you up and, take you off a list instead of on a list. And I'm going to say, and maybe some of my travel ball coaches on here with me will say the same thing. And if any of you want to be a co-speaker and you want to talk about softball, let me know because my co-host is not well tonight and my other girls are still on TikTok. But all you have to do is request to speak and I'll bring you on up. But you have to be really, really cautious about what it is you're putting out there. So there's also a pitching style, and I love this company. Powerhouse Mechanics is teaching more of the men's fast pitch style of pitching, but completely different than what we call the dragon finish from my generation. And from, a majority of the other girls do something a little different, but it's really, really drastic. And already, sadly, there's coaches that just aren't going to engage in it. Travel ball coaches that can't coach it. They don't know how to fix it, make it better, add value to your game. So sadly, they just pass. And no matter how hard you try to make that match because you're the parent and you're trying to make it on your own out there through it, it's tough to get the feedback. And it's not that you're not good, but there's some reason why they're not engaging with you specifically. And so you're going to burn a lot of money going to all these camps and they're going to like you and they're going to be, whoa, this is interesting, but they don't know how to work with it. They don't know what to do with it. And man, one SEC coach flat out said to one of my kids, I got a really good kid that does that style that we can't work with it. It's not anything we like. And then proceeded to tell her it was illegal and tried to break it down. Well, if she knows nothing about it, why are you telling her it's illegal, right? Why don't you just be nice and say, gosh, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your effort and the way you throw it's so unique. And thank you so much, you know? But woo, man, that can be hurtful and that can be really, really harsh to somebody who's, engaged in a particular style. So what are you sending, right? I would send less video. I would probably not send much video at all. And I would put more about your team, where to find you. If you didn't notice for the last year, college coaches have gone up there, and this is the only time they like to be tagged. They'll go, hey, I'm Coach Dixon from New Mexico, and I'm going to be at Show Me the Money, and I'm going to be in Houston. Get me your schedule. We retweet at them with every kid that's in our CSA database that's attending that camp, and you can go see attending that event. You can see it on our events page. We tweet back at them and say, here's their schedule. And then each one of our student athletes engages with them individually. So you're kind of seeing the depth of interaction that we give, but we do it because we know exactly what it is that we're trying to get at. If it is a type of student, like maybe it's an Ivy League or a high academic school and you don't have the grades or the test scores. I mean, I'm giving that feedback before you do it, but I probably won't tag you on it because it just doesn't make any sense for the college coaches to waste their time either. So here again, I'm serving what's best for the college coaches and also what's best for the student athletes that are in our service. So we have that personal relationship for many years during it. So who, what, where are you posting it? When are you posting it? Now, I have a friend on here, Create Lady J. She's my girl. She's been helping me with my social media. I'm gonna give her a little plug out here. She does a fabulous job. We've kind of switched it up a little bit in December and January. We're trying to find that magic when to post what we're posting to get the right interaction. And so much of what we post from CSA is promoting our student athletes and getting that personal touch out there. We see a lot more engagement with the personal interaction because the student athletes know each other, right? So we call it Team CSA. We do a lot of that during tournament time where we really push our active student athletes to give us some love each day because it helps them too. So the power in numbers is important. You'll see a hashtag Team CSA. If you click on that in our social media, you'll see everything we've ever posted. And then again, why are you posting it? Are you posting it because it's what you want to post? Are you posting it because some SEC coach that doesn't even do his social media said, oh, yeah, send us your workout video. We want to know you're working out. I promise you, here's another one. He is not asking for 500,000 registered high school student athletes to post their daily or weekly or even annual workout photos up there on Twitter. There was a coach that is no longer coaching, he's actually retired, but he said, man, it just deemed social media irrelevant for him because these softball coaches don't have a staff of 100 people like football to go and surf through it, right? There's just not the time, there's not the resource, and they already know how to recruit. All right, here's how they recruit: talent, team, where your team goes to play and who you're playing against, and then the academics, the grades, and all those other things then become the tiebreakers, right? You got to have the talent, you got to have the team. And then this is a personal pet peeve of mine. A lot of parents we know, we already, Lady J did a tweet on this for me. We already know who it is that's doing the Twitter because we can tell when it's a parent, we can tell when it's a kid. If you're a parent doing the social media, we know, and it's okay, but know that we know. And it's what I would encourage you to do is start to transition that so it's more authentic from their words. But you don't really need to post to promote yourself. What you need is somebody to say it about you. And I'm in DFW. We have high school, mediums that go out there and, post a player to watch or recruit of the week. I mean, those are cute. They're gimmicky. They don't help you in the recruiting, but it's nice to have a little press about the good kids. But it's the same 5 or 6 good kids over and over again on every publication, right? So the other 99 percenters go up there and they try to create their own story, their own message, their own recruiting, and it falls flat. It really, really falls flat because one, we know it's a parent or somebody trying to maneuver a Twitter strategy to fit into the college coach strategy when they want what they want. And they're not telling you because they're not going to tell you, oh, girl, don't do that swing up there. Just work in silence and put it on the field, right? Invite me to see you play. Come to their camps. Go to multi-school camps so you see lots of coaches, not just one individual school. But how you're doing it and what you're putting out there is really, really important. I see more kids getting taken off a list. Like, this is a true story. I had several girls I was calling a big SEC coach for, and I said the name of the one kid we were talking about. He goes, take her off. And I'm like, sir? He goes, take her off. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, go look at her social media. Oh, and go look at mom's social media. Yeah. When you talk about yourself and say, I, me, and you're a leader on a really good team, There should be more about your team and more about people in your circle, but you don't need to retweet about your teammates. You don't need to do any of that. If you are trying to build your brand as a social media influencer, I just put out for my clients a branding you um, program in December. And that's teaching you how to authentically build up your social media without hurting yourself in the recruiting process. And there's many, many ways to dice and slice and, mix up the social media postings. So think about that. And thank you, Jackie, for retweeting. Any of you want to retweet while we're on here? I got a lot. And then don't hesitate to either retweet and give me a question or private message me on my direct message here on my Twitter. Or you can always hit www.collegiatesportsadvocate.com and then click on contact us. And I always give a free conversation because I am very picky about who I take through the process. Very, very hard to clean up. Those of you that are 27s or 26s, really hard to clean up what you should have done correctly the first time versus having to do it right from the beginning. So that's why I tend to like younger student athletes. We can kind of pivot, we can switch. We do what we call an end of season call, and we review what they've been targeting and retarget. And heck, one of my favorite travel ball coaches is on here. Kim and I call each other when we have a kid that's in common and talk about, what each of us needs to do different because we're all doing something different. And sometimes we're doing a lot of the same, but it's all with a different tone and a different approach. So, man, I call it all hands on deck. Everybody should be part of it. They should never be slicing and dicing and saying, "Well, I'm a recruiter and I've got all the answers," or "I'm a travel ball coach and I get all my kids committed." Well, I hope so, because it's a sword to wear in the end if they get a little nervous and don't understand why they're not getting what they want, right? And it's tough out there, you travel ball coaches, man. People are quitting, and yeah, and Kim's right. We're usually on the same page, man. I've known her for years. I have a kid actually that might need a home. I may need to give you a phone number if you're needing a catcher in 16s. Message me so I don't forget. And that's a lot of what I do too. I'm networking to help these kids find the right place because I get kids all over the country. I have 2 in Canada, I have 4 in Mexico. My husband runs Team Mexico tryouts. My daughter played Team Mexico. That's our connection there. But who, what, where, when, why, and how. Think about it as if you are a product versus doing what somebody calls it FOMO, making you feel good, right? Fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out. So this is the silly stuff that people do that doesn't help them get recruited. Please don't take it personal. People holding up a camp flyer saying, or a camp photo, "Look at me, I went to camp," and they're tagging coaches. Do such a great job while you're there at the camp that they know your name. They don't need to have you put it up on social media. That didn't help them. It didn't create additional excitement or impressions for you. It didn't. It says, "Oh, you paid for a camp. Cute." Because it's not an official recruiting camp. It's not a visit. We don't even post visits because, man, talk about sharing the marketing hand there. Man, we share when you commit because you don't want to give away a lot of the information y'all are posting out on social media from a marketing strategy position. It's not about hyping and multiple impressions because if so, you're going about it with the wrong content. And that's what my branding you presentation tells you is how to go about it from a different content perspective. Then any of you can all go up to a page, especially the bigger schools, and you can click on their questionnaire, and some schools will send you a marketing packet. Okay. It doesn't mean you're getting recruited. Some of them will send it because they like you and they want you to know more about their school. That's still not getting recruited. It's just mail. Me and Coach Margot, I pulled them out of the drawer because, of course, I'm a hoarder. And I saved all my daughters, and they were Michigan and LSU, and a handwritten note from UCLA and Texas and OU. And my kid played at Kansas. Okay. I'm telling you, it doesn't turn out like you think it does. It's all just interaction at the beginning. You're going to know when you're really getting recruited, and then it ain't so easy there either, is it, Coach Kim? All right, so camp, you don't need to post camp pictures. Doesn't help you. Doesn't help the coaches. In fact, if you actually have somebody credible ask, do you really like to stand in line and take pictures with all these kids? They all say, ugh, it's so awkward. And one coach said, man, it's an hour. I'm tired. I just pitched for 4 hours, all these kids, and I'm tired. And I got to stand in line and put my arm around a kid and smile and say cheese. And it's not a kid I'm interested in. They just came to camp. Keep it real. You came to camp. It's not a recruiting experience. So, we have to keep those things in mind too. Again, you're giving away too much information. Stand in line and thank the coach. Give him a nice handshake. Hey, coach, thanks so much. I love the way you taught me to teach, do that drop ball. And thanks for having me. And I hope you come see me this summer. I'm going to send you my email with the link to my CSA page so that they have a place to follow you on. Man, those handout profiles, most of them go right in the trash, or they hand it to their grad assistant and tell them to add you to the emailing spam list that you're going to get until you graduate. All right, so I'm giving you so many gems today. And again, don't take it personal because I love you guys and you're all listening. So I feel so grateful. The live video, I already beat that dead horse. Less is more. It needs to be very strategic, very targeted. And if a coach really says to you, send me video, email it to them. That's direct emailing, right? That's direct marketing directly to the coach, not Twitter. Instagram, I don't know a lot of coaches that use Instagram for recruiting. They might be up there to get a sense of who you are. So less, I don't even know how, more clothing would be a better way to say it rather than less clothing. And man, some people's Instagrams, I don't know, maybe I'm old. I'm a little conservative. I live in Texas. We're not at the beach. Man, you're again, my branding you presentation, you're putting a brand on yourself. You're giving an image, you're getting a sense or a feeling about you without even saying anything or doing anything, just by that photo. So you have to be very, very careful what you're putting out there. My recommendations for Instagram is photos of your team, photos having a great time. One of my favorite teams, almost all of them are committed now, is our Hot Shots South team with John Eric Villegas. And man, they go to burger places and they go to out on a boat for whale watching and they do great things together and they're having a great journey and experience. Show that. And I also have a Twitter live that is recorded about how to make a great team, and I interviewed them. And they really know how to put together a good team, and they had some core fundamentals that made them very, very successful. They won Top Gun last year, and they're coming back in 18 and under. They're coming for you. So, camp email or camp pictures, not necessary. Mail pictures, not necessary. I don't know who's telling you it's good because it's not good. And then the newest trend, oh my God, new travel ball coaches, always the first year 14. Now they're putting a image, a Canva or whatever they're using. They're putting an image telling the coaches from their Twitter and using the logo of the college of the camp you're going to. Woo! Woo, that's a stretch, right? That's probably not the best way for the coach to do that either, because again, that's not direct marketing. We asked the question on TikTok, like, what's the point for that? Are you trying to tell people that your team is really good, that you can con people into going on an airplane and going to a big camp, spending thousands to just camp? I mean, people, you got to understand what that impression is. To those of us in the business, college coaches are considered people in the business. And workouts, you don't need to show them lifting your weights. And if so, man, Coach Margot has one that went wild. The workout clothing, you don't wear that in college. So put proper clothing on and do your workouts properly in proper attire. Look the part. Go see what they're working out in. They got big oversized t-shirts and big workout shorts and proper shoes. They are not half naked lifting weights. And again, Coach Margot has a big Instagram and Reels and TikTok about that. You don't need to give a negative impression. You don't need somebody who might be conservative or older or younger a different opinion. That's not what you're trying to get, but that's what your photo is getting. So again, who, what, where, when, why, and how. The workouts aren't necessary, and then the tagging. If that coach wants to be tagged, they're saying send it to me privately because they don't want their competition getting on you. You're not really getting to them. They actually have to go to a mentions and click on a button, and then they go, ugh, 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 ugh. They can follow you. They're not supposed to be DMing you if they're Division 1. until, well, the timing might change on that too. Stay tuned for that change. But September 1st, they really can't be interacting with you there. But really consider what you're putting out there. I always say this, and I'll probably end this Twitter somewhat short. If you guys don't ask me some questions, you can't unsee it. If you put it out there, you can't unsee it. You can delete it, but you cannot unsee it. So, who, what, where, when, why, and how. And man, I would love to share my branding you video with you guys and take you to a different place in the recruiting process than where you're at today. So hopefully I gave you lots of nuggets. If you could all retweet our recording here and share it with your team, share it with your teammates, man, I would love it. And tell me, message me even after to tell me what you want to hear next week. I kind of just make it up, whatever's going on in the business, whatever y'all need to hear or see. Um, go look at my media that's up on my media page and see what I can do to help you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.